Going live right now.
Yes.
Did you know you hit that?
Yes, I did. Okay, so my next question is, okay, I guess I'll figure it out on the back end. Just a little bit of, we're going to jump right in, a little bit of house cleaning for anyone who is deaf or hard of hearing. Please turn on the closed captions because I was told it's just better if you turn it on versus me trying to turn it on my end. All right. That's the little housekeeping here on my end. And I'm going to jump in and start. Hi, everybody. My name is Shanique Robles with Warm Bridge Support Services. And with me today, I have a special guest that I'm super excited about, Mr. Chaz Horn. He is the author of the book B2B, Predictable Sales. And so, Mr. Horn, if you want to jump in and introduce yourself.
Yeah, call me Chaz.
Mr. Chaz.
Mr. Horn makes me feel old calling Mr. Horn. Yeah, so it's great to connect. Thank you, Shanique. It's awesome to be here. And so let me just tell you about where I started, if that's okay.
Please.
Okay, so I was the worst salesperson in the world. That's the way I felt. And in sales, the biggest problem is up here in your mind. And we had 119 sales reps. I was 119 out of 119 sales reps, dead last. And I had zero zip nada sales. And this happened for day after day and week after week and month after month. And I remember I was sitting in my car. It was in Northern California and it had just started to rain. And then there was this glow from my dashboard and it was my empty light on my fuel. And I could barely scrape 2 pennies together. I'm like, great. And soon after I had a conversation with my boss and he sensed I was down and he had me over to his house for dinner. And after dinner, we went into the den. There was a fire in the fireplace. I'll never forget it. His name's Ken Upton. And he sat in his chair of prominence. I sat across from him, kind of like a student to pupil. And he said 3 words that changed my life. You can be. Now, why was that important to me? Because most of my life, I didn't have people speaking life into me, seeing potential in me. And so he did follow those 3 words with something else. And that was the top salesperson in the company. Here I am, 119 out of 119. He's telling me, my boss, he became my mentor right then and there, which most bosses, by the way, and all you leaders out there that have salespeople, you need to be not only the leader, the boss, but you need to be the mentor that helps people realize it so they can step into their full potential. It will help them. It will help you. So he said, you can be the top salesperson in the company, but do you hate those big buts that people say right after they give you something of encouragement? By the way, 1 T, okay? So, but you got to follow the system, Chaz. You got to follow the process. It's proven. And we've spent hundreds, maybe even thousands of hours developing this. So sales leaders out there that are managing and leading your salespeople, if you don't have a system and process that's proven, that's one of your biggest mistakes before hiring a salesperson. Now, so he said, okay, so from that meeting, the next day, I followed the system, I followed the process, and nothing happened the first day. The second day, I scheduled a meeting, then another meeting, and then another meeting. And then I remember it's probably like within 4 days, I walked out of that place with a check which would be equivalent to today, maybe like $6,000. They paid me after having a 30-minute conversation. I had a check in my hand for $6,000. It's like, whoo, this works. And so that boosted my confidence and I kept going and kept going. So 45 days later, I was not the top salesperson in the company. Remember, I was at 119, but I went to number 3. So that's where I started in sales, and Ken drilled that into me. Proven system, proven process, proven system, proven process. And so all throughout my sales career, many decades, before starting my business, it was always about, this company doesn't have a proven system, and most don't. System and process. Selling process is one thing. Selling system is another thing. The sales process gives you step A, B, C, D. The selling system is how you approach each and every one of those steps in the process. So, 2016, I started my business, and it was about helping. I do a couple offers, solopreneurs, helping them leverage LinkedIn to grow their business. And then what I've been talking about right now is helping founders, typically 1 to 10 million, identify, attract, and onboard new clients through their salespeople because they have the leadership, they have the expectations and standards, two very important differentiations, and they have the system and process their salespeople can walk through, and if they follow it, they'll get predictable results. And once you have those guardrails set in place, they can also use their unique personality and skill set that will just add on to that. So that's a little bit of my background and how I got to where I am today.
Woo, you said a lot. Wow, you said the whole thing. You just throw it out there. So what I understood from what you said is systems are important, either on the small scale or on the large scale. If you don't have a system in place, then everything's going to be thrown off. Is that correct? That's what I understood.
Yeah, and every company has a system, but it's usually a broken system, or they're doing what they know. And many times in the $1 to $10 million, typically 1 to 3 salespeople, I mean, you can give or take a little bit there, 4 salespeople, 2 salespeople, whatever, is the founder many times will start in sales, but then they want to start working on their business instead of in their business. So they hire salespeople. But a salesperson can never, ever, ever sell like a founder.
Woo.
Because a founder has ownership in his business. And the number one prerequisite for sales to happen is having confidence in your solution and in your offer. And a founder naturally does because it's his company, her company. But a salesperson, yes, they need to believe in your product and service, but they need that system and process to work through. A lot of founders, they just have the it factor, and that it factor is ownership in their business because they have a direct investment in that, which salespeople do. Yes, they're getting commissions and whatnot, but they still need that proven system and process in place. Without that, I hear story after story where they go through a salesperson, 6 months, 3 months, 7 months, and they come to me and they go, Chaz, there's no good salespeople out there. And I said, if I went to your salesperson right now, true story, to one guy, we'll call him Rob, not his real name. If I asked your salesperson right now, could they tell me what your sales process is and selling system is? Long silence like that. And he said, no. I said, well, that's the problem. I don't know if they were bad salespeople or not, but you can hire a okay salesperson with a proven system and process, speak life into them, and they can succeed far and above what they know and believe and what you know and believe. It all starts with a system and process and speaking life into your salespeople.
Woo! I think that's important too, because the whole speaking life part, I think that gets left out a lot. And that's why I love you, not love you, but I love you and what you do, because
I received that. I hear what you're saying.
It's because I've been following your work on LinkedIn, and I love how it's faith-based, and you show, hey, the grace, the mercy, the love, the Jesus, you can put that in and still do business. You don't have to leave him out and just do you or just do business. And I came from the corporate world and it was all business and, Jesus over here. And I just love when I'm, connected with you online. I'm like, he's got it. He's got it. You can do both. So I love that.
Amen.
I love that you have that. That's awesome. Awesome. And you use that opportunity to tell businesses, hey, invest in your people, teach them how, and then they'll do what you need them to do.
Yeah. I've worked through so many organizations, Shanique, where the boss sucks the life out of the salespeople or out of their team members. Anyone listening to this out there, you understand what I'm talking about. and very few. And I think if I look back, like Ken Upton was the main one that really spoke life into me. And I've had some good bosses and some decent bosses, but no one like him who really went from just boss to mentor, who actually gave me guidance and direction and spoke life into me. Yes, you need to call out things when your people aren't following through, but there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. And most leaders make a huge mistake because they don't know how to lead, and because they don't understand people and they don't understand the skill set or don't have the emotional intelligence to speak to people that influences them. And so emotional intelligence, and I will throw in spiritual intelligence, is really important if you're a believer, to understand it's not just going to church and Jesus and we're worshiping. That's great, amazing. We're children of God. If you put your faith and trust in Jesus, I love that. But if you don't have the strong connection that you hear from God, and Romans 12:2 that says, don't conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. What's the promise there? Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. But if your mind is not renewed, and if it's not renewed, you're not going to be aware and sensitive to God's voice. And so you're going to be doing what you know and not what God says.
Absolutely.
And there's a big difference.
Mm-hmm. And can I just chime in and say, if your inside is ugly, that's what you're going to give out.
Yep, big time. And my inside was ugly, Shanique. I've shared this so many times. And I'm telling everyone out there, because I lacked self-awareness, I suppressed my emotions. And when you suppress your emotions, they don't disappear. They come back much uglier later in life. Big time. And if you're not sure if you're suppressing your emotions or not, if someone cuts in front of you in traffic, do you fly off the handle? Even if you don't chase them down or, try to bust a cap or something in their car. If your level of anger goes from here to here in seconds, that's a sign that you haven't processed, you haven't regulated your emotions, and they are processing or regulating you. And when you don't have that in place, you don't have emotional intelligence, and you're not aware how you're projecting yourself to your team members and how you're leading people. And if you are in a place of self-protection and self-promotion, that's another sign that you're living out of your false identity, and you are not communicating with a way that influences, at least in a positive way. That's the foundation. I learned the hard way, and I haven't arrived, believe you me, but I have come to a place where this is a cool story. I have a David framework. I'm going off into something else I do, which is based on Psalms, where you can self-regulate. It's David's Psalms. It's right there. It's science-backed. It's backed by God's word, where you can regulate your emotions so that you can become healthy, emotionally intelligent, spiritually intelligent. And just by going through this, I remember a family member, and no one can hurt you like your family members or someone close to you, right? So they said something hurtful for me, and I didn't react. I responded. What's the difference? If you're sick, a doctor gives you medication and you react, not good. But if your body responds to the medication, that means you're healing. Same in communication. If you react, that's a sign that there's something in you that's not good. But if you respond, then it's a good sign that you're healthy internally, because you have a process to regulate, to go through your emotions in a healthy way so they're not controlling you, you're controlling them. That's the beginning of emotional intelligence. So this family member said something very hurtful, and my first thought was responding. They must be having a bad day. And I was like, Lord, you have created new neural pathways. You are renewing my mind. And so that was proof that the way I think is changing. And if you don't change the internal, how you think in your processes, you can have proven systems and processes, but if you're a leader, that doesn't have that emotional or spiritual intelligence, you're going to miss the mark in leading your people in your business, and you will never reach their full potential, and either will they when they're under your leadership.
That means you're going to be losing a lot of people.
And that's what happens. It's like 3 months, they're gone. 6 months, they're gone. 9 months, they're gone. And many leaders, Jocko Willink had a really good book, has a good book. It's Extreme Ownership, one of my favorite leadership books. And he says this: if there's a problem in the business, salespeople not being there, it's your fault, the leader's fault. Not the salespeople, yours. Not your team members, yours. And so you got to take ownership. And if you don't take ownership, all transformation starts with the truth. If you don't take ownership and admit that, then you're going to miss the mark. And by the way, all transformation, again, starts with the truth. You take an ownership, and people do not want a perfect leader. You don't have to be a perfect leader. They just want a leader who is real. Here's something really cool that helped. I followed a toxic, narcissistic boss, and all the salespeople would come to the meeting. I was one of those salespeople, by the way, and he would ask a question or something, or someone would say something, and you never knew. He's kind of like this guy. We'll call him Tim, not his real name. He's kind of like a box of chocolates, like Forrest Gump. You know, his mama always told me life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, Tim was like a box of chocolates. You never knew what you're going to get. He was either screaming at you or he was calm, and you just never knew what was going to happen. So he had screamed at so many people in the sales meetings that no one typically ever said anything. I learned the hard way because I said something, he didn't like it, and he screamed at me. But over the years, I developed a proven system and process they didn't have in place because I learned it from my first boss, who was my mentor, who spoke life into me. This guy was sucking the life out of everybody, and he actually promoted me to the national sales manager. And so one of the first things I did with the salespeople is, okay, guys, we're going to talk about your greatest failure. And they're like, what? Yes, because I wanted them to get used to failing, because they were under this guy. They were afraid if they stepped out of their comfort zone and they did something wrong, they would get screamed at. And so they just stayed in this little box with no creativity, no proven system or process. And so what I did, going back to being a leader who is real, I would say, okay, guys, if you're not going to say anything. So I started off me. Who failed today? Who failed this week? I would say, this is how I failed. I would tell them. So after about a week of me starting off, they started to trickle in. Well, I failed this way. After 6 weeks, Shanique, check this out. People were like, man, I failed so badly this week. Now, it wasn't just like I failed badly, that was it. It was like they're owning it. They didn't beat themselves up, and they learned from it. Sometimes people are like, I don't like we're using the word failure. It's just a step in the process. It doesn't define you. It's just how you reframe it and utilize it to your leverage. So if you're not failing, by the way, then you're not doing much of anything, because anytime you, exactly right. Preach it. Preach it.
Can I just say that, and as I learned on my journey, my entrepreneurial journey, that is a secret that the top 1% use to their advantage. They're like, okay, let's fail faster so we can get to the right answer, the right solution. Whereas for me, I was like, failing is wrong, hide. So my question is, where does that come from? Why is it people are afraid, even me, to fail or mess up? Maybe because of the bad experiences of the people who are like, oh, you messed up, and beat you over the head.
Yeah, I think it starts in kindergarten. Like Walt Disney, kindergarten is where the industrial complex, where, kindergarten through high school, the college, it's like they train you so that you're ready for a corporate job and working in this, which is not in how God created you. He didn't create you in a little box in this unique way. He created you to be a creator. He created us in his image. So in kindergarten, what do? They color within the lines. Before that, we're all over the place. And so Walt Disney, he was drawing these flowers with faces on his flowers. And the kindergarten teacher said, Walt, flowers don't have faces. And so Walt Disney, obviously, we know, is he had a mindset that was different than most 5-year-olds. He goes, mine does, and so that's where it starts. Where people are like, okay, you can't do it this way. You got to stay in these parameters, and then it's like, oh, you're in the Bluebird reading program. If you're below that, you're less than, and so you associate failure with how it defines you and is part of your identity, where they should be pushing you out to fail and celebrating that failure and reframing it so they understand failure is just a step in the process. It's essential. If we would change that with kids and adults and whatnot, that we would just change the entire fabric of our culture. And Gen Z, which is the highest suicide rate, would have a totally different paradigm in how they approach things, big time. But we don't. We parents, it's like, my kid is an honor roll student. It's like, so if your kid is an honor roll student, were they less than? Those stickers are not for the kids, it's for the parents. So anyway, that's where it comes from, is that we personalize the failure and as how it defines us, and not understanding and realizing it's a step in the process. It's a necessary step in the process. And that's the 1% why they're successful. They understand, oh, this is a feedback loop. I have a redirection, not a rejection. All those different things.
This is so good. This is gold. I just want to be like, this is so good. I'm taking notes. I am going to be applying all this good stuff. So thank you so much.
I received that. Thank you.
This is good stuff. I hope that, whoever is listening has, is our time up? Because I want to honor your time and respect your time.
No, we're good. We're good.
Oh, okay.
This is my last meeting of the day. So let's rock and roll.
Awesome. So if somebody wanted to know more about, how to maybe use your services or use your system that you have in place, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so if you want to, Shanique, you could drop a link to my book, The B2B Blueprint to Predictable Sales.
Okay.
That a lot of what I'm talking about is in there, and I actually have video takeaways that you can click down, and I drill down on the point. And that's not the right link. It's a different one.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah, it's on my LinkedIn profile. If you click on LinkedIn, just changed something today. I realized it. You used to be able to personalize your link. It said, grab your B2B blueprint.
I saw that change, and I was like, what? Where's the stuff?
Yeah, so now I have it under newsletter, which is not a newsletter, but it's just because I have things pointing out. But if you go to my profile, Chaz Horn, and you click on newsletter, because LinkedIn just changed this, and I saw it this morning, I'm like, okay, here's an example. As an entrepreneur, things you can't control the platforms. You have to tweak and pivot around what they do with the algorithms, because now they have this 360 coffee brew or brew algorithm, which is totally different with content. So when they change something on the profile like this, it's not like, oh my gosh, what's going on? You just have to tweak and improve. So it's under view my newsletter, and you can get my book, The B2B Blueprint. And Shanique appears to have disappeared. And so I'll keep talking until she comes back. So if you want that, or if you want to connect with me, just send me a DM, direct message to Chaz Horn, connect with me on LinkedIn, and just say, hey, I saw the podcast with you and Shanique and want to connect. Please do, because I get a lot of people that connect with me because I have founder in the title, and they're usually connecting and spamming. And I understand it, because I was there once upon a time too. I didn't know any better. And most people don't know any better. They think I just send a lot of messages with spam, and someone's going to say yes. Typically not. You'll repel more people than you will attract. So let me go and end this, since Shanique has disappeared. Probably some technical difficulties.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Oh, there she's back. I was about to end the broadcast.
Thank you. You know what to do. Yes, it was definitely technical difficulties. So I put it up on the screen here for anyone who wanted to check it out on I put it in the comments. Did you see it? And if not, whenever we do the repost, we'll make sure that it gets on there. But you can be found on, you said YouTube, on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. We can just look up Chaz Horn. And
yeah,
then,
LinkedIn is the best.
okay.
And what I'll do is I'll just put the link in the chat here.
Perfect.
Oh, this is the studio chat.
Yes.
Here we go. Bam. Okay. Now you have the link. And I don't know if that will carry over through LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything else, but
Awesome.
It's in there.
Awesome. Okay. Any questions from the audience? It looks like there's one person online with us and they left. So I was going to see if we have any questions, and we don't at this time. Before we leave, I do want to share a little bit about what we do at Warm Bridge Support Services. So we help clients to monetize their knowledge and build a business that based on their expertise. So that's what we do at Warm Bridge Support Services. And I think that it's perfect in alignment with what you have, Mr. Chaz, because after you create this product, okay, now you have to take it to the marketplace, and you're going to need a team and the systems to execute it and to grow and to scale. You can't just do it on your own. And so that's where your knowledge comes in to help take them to the next level. So you don't have to have this big gap. Okay, now what do you do from here? You set up your system, you get your product, put it into place, and now we're taking it to the market. How do you scale with your team? And when you become that leader, that's another set of skills that you need.
Huge. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so awesome. Also, yes, I'll drop my link here if anyone would like to learn more or work with our team. It's Shanique, wbsupportservices.com, or you can direct message us on YouTube and LinkedIn. We're on YouTube and LinkedIn as well. All right, that's it for us. Thank you so much, Mr. Chaz. You dropped so much
Shanique,
gold.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Yay, you have a great day.
You too.
All right, bye.